Hi everyone, back to Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with my thought of the day, and here we go. The final countdown is on. I think 36 days from today, if you don't count today as a day, if you start tomorrow, the 16th of March, Carabao Cup Final at Wembley. The game is now decided and set. Newcastle United will take on Liverpool, the mighty Liverpool who smashed Spurs 4-0 last night. They were absolutely terrible Spurs, to be brutally honest with you. I think Ange Postecoglou could very well not be the Spurs manager by the end of the season if Villa dumped them out the FA Cup, which is pretty plausible and likely, I would say, with the weekend's fixtures on the horizons. But going back to the main story here, Newcastle United have got their opponents in the Carabao Cup final. Was it the opponent that we wanted really on paper? Probably not. Spurs probably would have looked like the easier game. But this is probably working out in Newcastle's favour. I'm about to explain why in a minute. But Liverpool are a massive football club. There is no doubt about it. This is Arne Slot's first season. He's done way better than anybody thought he was going to be. I particularly said he would struggle. I thought Liverpool would have a bit of a lull like Manchester United did when Fergie left, like Arsenal did when Wenger left. Not at all. You know, Klopp moved on and Slot doesn't look like he's missed a beat whatsoever. They play great football. I like the guy. He seems like a really likable fella. So did Klopp when he first came in, then he became a royal bell end as the seasons went by. But normally after he won the league, actually, that's when his ego grew too big. But hopefully Slot won't do that when Liverpool win the league, because for me, they are going to win the league. By the time we play this game, they might very well have had the league wrapped up, in all fairness, you know, so maybe their minds will be elsewhere. But this is why I think this particular fixture is not the end of the world for Newcastle United. Some of us might be worried and they might go, oh, shit, we're playing Liverpool. If we played Spurs, we've got a better chance of winning the cup. Listen, you've got to beat the best teams to lift the trophies. That's the way these things work. Newcastle have been in cup finals for years gone by. Certainly, in my era as a younger fan, we were getting a cup finals even when we were dog shit in the league. Manchester United were beating us, Arsenal were beating us. But this team seems different, and it seems different this year. We got the Carabao Cup final 3 years ago against a rotten Manchester United side. And I was listening to the guys at True Faith, brilliant podcast that Charlotte Sy and Ben and Norman were doing. And they made a good point that when we were back in the final 3 years ago, there was this massive emotional outpouring. The players' family wrote them letters. They were crying before the game and all that. And I think they thought it was going to have this extra boost, extra spring in the step to get them over the line to beat a pretty mediocre Manchester United under Erik ten Hag. And it kind of had the adverse effect. I think it put more pressure on the lads' shoulders. You don't feel that emotion this time around. This seems like business. We beat Chelsea, we beat Arsenal over 2 legs. And if we play like we did against Arsenal over 2 legs in that final, I'd fancy us to beat anybody, Spurs, Liverpool, whoever, put them in front of us and I fancy us to beat them. But this is why this is good for Newcastle United. We are going to be the underdogs here. Liverpool are already favourites to lift this cup. And I suppose rightly so when you look at it in terms of the form and the players that they have. But anything can happen in a cup final. We saw years ago when Wigan beat Manchester City. I think it was in the cup final and won the FA Cup. It didn't obviously work out very well for Wigan in the end, but I bet you their fans would ever trade that day for that enjoyment that they won the FA Cup. But going back to this game itself, all of the media focus will be on Liverpool. All of the pressure will be on Liverpool. All of the expectation will be on Liverpool. And Newcastle United won't have that pressure, that expectation, only from within the group of players and the fans, our fans, the hope and the dreams that we're going to end this 70-year drought for a trophy, a major trophy. That will be the only pressure that Newcastle have to go on. And our fans can, articulate that and manifest that in a positive way, not to put too much pressure on the lads. Everything will be on Liverpool for this final. The mainstream media, doesn't matter who the fuck they are, Sky, TNT, ITV, BBC, they'll all be talking about Liverpool, 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 Liverpool. They're going to win this cup. Newcastle are going to have to play really well to win this cup. So all of the pressure will be on Liverpool. Now, I don't think Arne Slot will let his team become complacent, but if Liverpool just think they've got one hand on the trophy already, they may take us for granted at their peril. And that's when I think Newcastle United will do the business. This feels different for me this year. I just feel like, this is our time. I said this after the Arsenal game. I wasn't, still on a high from the game. I was a little bit, to be fair, but I've had time to think about this. Looking at the win last night for Liverpool, and they were impressive, but as equally as impressive as Liverpool were, was equally as bad Spurs were. We're a better side than Spurs. We have a better goalkeeper than Spurs. We have a much better defence than Spurs. We have an excellent midfield, better than Spurs. And up front, we have probably one of the best 4 centre forwards in world football right now, in the shape of Alexander Isak. It already started on Sky. It already started. Jamie Carragher turned around and he said that he thinks Virgil van Dijk is even too good for this level, in terms of Premier League football. And then Jamie Redknapp, of all people who I've dug out before as a media muppet, actually said something pretty spot on for Jamie Redknapp. Maybe seen the light. And he turned around and said, there's one player who can give Virgil van Dijk a hard time, and that's Alexander Isak. And Alexander Isak gives everybody a hard time. But all of these players, all of these defenders that people want to put into their all-time Premier League 11s, for me, they don't get anywhere close to Terry and Ferdinand at the Pomp, in my opinion. But that's because I'm an old bastard. Go back and watch videos, younger fans. You might see what I'm talking about. But, likes of Saliba, the likes of Gabriel and Virgil van Dijk, they all have something in common. Alexander Isak has tied them up in knots. Vicky van de Ven, if you want to throw him there as well, tied him up in knots. And it isn't a coincidence. It's because this lad is fucking class. And that's what he does. The bigger the game, the bigger the performance from Alexander Isak. And as long as we keep him fit and in form for that final, we've got every chance of winning that trophy. Sandro Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes, Joe Linton, if he makes it in midfield, that's a brilliant midfield. It's got steel, it's got silk, it's got calmness, it's got vision of pass, reading of the game. Sven Botman at the back is a Rolls Royce defender. Dan Burns been imperious this season, with Lewis Hall and Tino Livramento, or Kieran Trippier, at right back. And this time in goal as well, we'll have either Nick Pope or Martin Dubravka. We won't have Loris Karius. No offence to Loris Karius in that game. He came in rusty. I felt sorry for him, but I always go back to that first goal. It was a Rashford's goal. He could have saved that had he had 2 or 3 games prior to that to get himself up to match speed. He definitely could have. And that was a big mistake for Newcastle back in that final. But I think we'll eradicate the mistakes of those finals. I think a lot of the lads are still here who were in that final, who didn't perform on that day, who let an average Manchester United team take control of the game because their players have experience of winning cup finals. And a lot of them Liverpool players do. Virgil van Dijk, Mo Salah, Trent, if he's playing, they'll have experiences of winning cup finals. But there's a lot of players in there who are new players who won't have that experience, like Szoboszlai and guys like that. He might do in his previous team, but not for Liverpool, So Newcastle can really give Liverpool a great game here. I really do believe that. We're not going to go to Wembley, roll over and get our belly tickled and get battered 4-0 like Spurs did the other night. Newcastle are going to turn up for this final. And I firmly believe that Newcastle have got enough to win this game. Is it going to be easy? No. Would playing Spurs be easier? Yes. But, if you want to win this cup, you've got to beat the best teams. And Liverpool are currently the best team in the land. We absolutely rinsed the second best team in the land in many people's eyes over 2 legs in this cup. So why can't we go one better and beat Liverpool? We drew 3s each with them at St James's Park. We were in that game for large spells of that game. It was only defensive lapses that made us lose the lead in that game. And to be fair, if the referee had a watch that fucking worked, we might have won that game 4-3. Now, the real winners in this final are the neutrals, because these are 2 of the best footballing teams in the Premier League right now. This is an absolutely brilliant Carabao Cup final. These 2 teams are responsible for arguably the greatest ever Premier League game in all eyes, as many people think, the 4-3s. Obviously we don't want it to go that way this time. The neutrals would love it, but as a Newcastle fan base, we want Newcastle to get the job done. And I'm confident we can hang with Liverpool in this final. We can actually go one better. We can win the fucking thing and bring it back to Newcastle. And what a day that would be with these lads coming back with the Carabao Cup under their arm. Well, let us know in the comments below what you guys think about the fact that it's Liverpool in the final. Are you bothered? Are you upset? Would you rather had Spurs? Or are you just saying, fuck it, bring on anybody? We're going to win the final this season. I believe we are. I'm confident. I know Eddie will be confident. The lads will be confident. This is our year. It's about time somebody other than the greedy 6 cartel clubs won these fucking trophies, and this is our turn to do it. So let us know in the comments below what you guys think. Like and subscribe. Keep it evermore. We'll be back with more Newcastle United content this week. Loads to play for still, not just the Carabao Cup final. Champions League positions still in sight for Newcastle. We're still in the FA Cup as I record this, so loads to get stuck into. Thanks for watching, everybody. Keep it evermore. Have a belter, and we'll see you later. Cheers.